no. Evan needs to figure out the microphone, if you can help him set it up in front of him. Here's the order.
I am a microphone, and this is how I sound. Okay, it's working.
Yeah.
He needs your help, so could you please do that? Whatever you don't want to play, just have it. So he needs both this and
Can you just play Yadid Nefesh, and then I can do everything else.
check, check.
And then, can you just remind me like how the feel of Shir Adonai is? Okay.
And I can always sing it to you before.
Okay. But yeah. Other than that, and then.
So I'm going to start with the guitar because
Okay. Can I sound check? Can I stand the guitar?
we do have to start.
Yeah, that's fine. I won't take long. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברוך שמו בסו מיום ליום ישועתו. This is, it's fine for me, I just don't know how loud I am. I have no clue how loud I am. Yeah. Okay.
Jessica? Hey, are we ready on Zoom? So whenever we're ready? Okay, so I'll tell you in one moment.
Oh, I should grab that as well. David, if there's two more, can you get me one as well? Yes, please. And can I give you this and I'm gonna go grab a Sidor. I'll just right here. And then can't they stand by as I just pull the little switch down, right?
All right, Jessica, you ready? Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So we are at the Shabbat before Passover, and in my family, back in Jerusalem, this would be probably the busiest time of the year. My parents would be cooking and cleaning, switching dishes, which is a huge undertaking in my family, and probably everywhere else. Getting rid of chametz, right? Burning it, which is a whole other process. And probably spending the most amount ever on groceries because they switch everything to kosher for Passover. And for those who observe it in its entirety, Passover is time-consuming. But before we get into Passover, which is a week away, and the hustle of bustle of whatever it looks like in your house and your family, we're going to have a moment to pause, reboot, renew, and calm our nervous system. And how do we do that? By singing. So we're going to start with our Kabbalat Shabbat, page 636. Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh. Avarachaman Meshoch Avdach El Retzonach Yarutz Avdach Kemo Ayal Ishtachaveh El Muladach ידידותך מנופת צוף וכל טעם. And then we continue with this beautiful nigun. La da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da da da. We're going to continue with, well, thank you for Evan for being with us tonight, and he's going to continue playing. We're going to continue with Lechu Neranena, found on page 130. Say that again. We're doing A. Yeah. לכו נרננה. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. נריה, נריה לצור אישנו, נקדמה פניו בתודה. נריה, נריה לצור אישנו, בזמירות נריה לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה על אדוני. 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 We continue on page 133 with Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash. We sing to God a new song, and it starts with a little bit of a nigun, a wordless melody at the beginning. Let's sing. Rai, 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 rai. שירו, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני. בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, בסרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו. 131 כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נאו על כל אלוהים. איי 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 We're going to make that lower. There we go. I hear myself on repeat. Thank you. So on page 138, the Lecha Dodi. All right, so Lecha Dodi, the refrain is taken from Song of Songs. Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs. It is said to have been written by King Solomon. And Shir HaShirim tells of a story, a love story, in beautiful, beautiful poetry. And it's understood as a metaphor for the union between God and the people of Israel. Now, Shir HaShirim is traditionally sung on which holiday? Passover. And there are lots of different traditions of when they would use the words of Shir HaShirim and how. But why is it sung on Passover? So Shir HaShirim is sung on Passover. Some say because that it is on, or it was on Passover, that the special relationship between the people of Israel and God started. And it started with the beautiful miracle of redemption. So there's one reason why we use the words of Shir HaShirim, and here it is in our Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi. So we are on page 138. If you would like to look at the words, we sing the words of verse 1, 2, 5, and 9. We're ready.
Lecha lecha dodi, לקראת קלה, פני Shabbat נקרא ולה לה לה
לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת כל תחילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, לראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל. We rise and face the door, and when we say the words Boi, you will see that we bow and welcome the Shabbat together. Boi ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבל, לה לה לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, You may be seated. One of my favorite prayers for Kabbalat Shabbat on a Friday night is the prayer, the song of the Shabbat angels on page 142, Shalom Aleichem. There's something so warm about this prayer, something so welcoming and feels like home. So when I sing Shalom Aleichem, I remember my family, and I remember Jerusalem, and I remember keeping Shabbat with friends and family like we are doing right now. So we sing together Shalom Aleichem, found on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon.
השלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. אוי 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 מי מלך, מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני
לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. אוי 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 מי מלך, מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צלם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך, מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
יישר כוח. This is a surprise, but I'm going to ask Tina and Jonathan, would you be able to come up and light our Shabbat candles with us? Thank you so much. Tina's our really amazing board member, and Jonathan is in the choir, and just very lucky to have you both with us. Yes, and we will start singing whenever.
La 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 la
In my family, we send out our hands and we say, Boy v'shalom, come with in peace. We ask the Shabbat to join us in peace. Boy v'shalom, boy v'shalom, boy v'shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, וציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר של השבת. שבת שלום. Thank you. We're going to continue with, that was Kabbalat Shabbat, that was welcoming the Shabbat, and found on page 146 is the Baruch Hu. I'm going to keep talking until Evan kind of is organized himself so he can play the Baruch Hu as he wishes. So, but we all are going to rise and face the ark. Tell me how I can help you through it.
Okay.
La continue with the Shema. Shema is found on page 152. And I'm going to share with you something that I share usually with the kids when we do the religious school prayer, when we have the service. The Shema is a really interesting prayer for me because it is a time where you're both singing, there's an output, but you're also saying the words, listen. So at the same time of you speaking, you're also in a state of listening and making sure that you are and what is happening. So it's really interesting duality of singing and listening. So I'm going to encourage all of you, while you are singing the Shema, and some people do close their eyes or cover their eyes, that you do listen to other people around you singing the Shema. Do they sing it differently than you? Do they sing it the same way? And see how you feel connected to the other people around you. Because the prayer of the Shema is about unity, is about proclaiming our togetherness. And we do it together as a community. So we're going to sing the Shema. If you can sing. This is fine. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. We're going to continue with the V'ahavta. That experiment was interesting because I heard things that I haven't heard before, and it brings a different perspective. So we continue with the Ve'ahavta, talks about love and passing down all of our knowledge, all of our love and ideas that we learn from the Torah down to the next generation. Ve'ahavta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. So, talking about Passover, there are many laws pertaining to how to keep Passover. There are elaborate texts documenting the conversations about what is important and what is less important about Passover. Who is obligated in drinking full 4 cups of wine? How much matzah must be eaten? And which prayers you should not skip? But the whole purpose of the Seder is to retell the biggest miracle. So let's celebrate it as we sing the Michamocha and celebrate this big miracle. Who is like you? מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. יאללה לי, יאללה לי, יאללה לי, יאללה And of course, we remember the brit, the pact, the contract between us and God. We get the Shabbat, and that is the gift. So we continue with the Vishamru, found on page 162. Hopefully, if you know the words, you can sing along, and if not, just la 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 along. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדוד ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדוד ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדוד ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדוד ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדוד ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדוד ברית עולם. ask Tina to join us.
I think I'm okay. At this time, we turn to page 371 for the Misha Berach. We offer the Misha Berach for those in need of physical, mental, and spiritual healing. Tonight on our Misha Berach list, we name William Abramson, Eric Anderson, Richard Barrett, David Berger, Marco Bloom, Bella Kane, Gil Cherish, Jack Cunningham, Chaim Deckel, Mark DeVore, Judy Fine Edelstein, Diane Fontel, Sharon Feist, Alex Fischel, Jackie Feisel, Jonathan Freund, Corey Garson, Chanabat Herschel, Sarah Knopf, Gonzalo Martinez, David Nodell, Bryn Pime, Joseph Rubin, Yossi Sha'ashua, Lisa Sage, Paula Warner Schlenker, Wayne Shaw, Gail Silva, Rose Silurik, Julie Stein, Marvin Stern, Sylvia Nemiroff, Joan Schenk, Luciano Bailey, Louise Adhami, Peggy Holm, Sherry Wells, Lisa Bruner, Feroz Manavi, Faji Manavi, and Maxine Strauss. We also think of those suffering from COVID and those caring for those who are ill, as well as all those suffering in Ukraine due to war. If you have an additional name or I've mispronounced the name of your loved one, please share it now. Please join us in singing the Misha Berach again on page 371.
Those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We're turning to really the culmination of almost every prayer. It is the Amidah. It's found on page 164. And before we stand, it is a moment that we can... So the Amidah is really an opportunity to have a discussion, to have a conversation, to say what's on your heart, whether if it's written here or it is in your heart or your mind. That is the point, that is the place for you to really express yourself, your individuality, and whatever is happening within your life right now, it would be the time that you have that conversation. So we're going to continue with the Amidah. the standing prayer, the 18 prayers found on page 164. Please rise.
Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, איש עיני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום, יעללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue silently to page 180.
יהיו לרצון והגיון ליבי יהיו לרצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי Go inside your heart just be Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth, meditations of my heart be true. May they be acceptable to you, oh my rock, and my redeemer.
יישר כוח. My bat mitzvah was 28 years ago. On the Shabbat before Passover, which is officially called Shabbat Hagadol. So, I don't know why my parents chose the Shabbat before Passover. It is not near my birthday, but they chose Shabbat Hagadol before Passover. What is Shabbat Hagadol? Shabbat Hagadol is the Shabbat before Passover. It could be just a few days. It could be a week. And Gadol means grand or big, right? We just said the words of the Amidah, Hagadol v'hanora, right? The big and great or grand. How did this Shabbat get its name? So there are several explanations. So Rabbi David ben Yosef writes in the Haftarah, right? There, in addition to the Torah, we have readings from the Torah, and in addition, we have beautiful poetry that is written in the prophets, and that is called Haftarah. So we read the Haftarah before the Shabbat, prior to Pesach. We read the verse from Malachi. הנני אנוכי שולח לכם את אליהו הנביא לפני בוא יום השם אדוני הגדול והנורא. Behold, I send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of God. This reason places Shabbat HaGadol in the same category as other Shabbats that get their name from the Haftarah. Same as Shabbat Chazon, Shabbat Nachamu, and Shabbat Shuvah in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. The name is derived from the Haftarah, from the readings from the prophets. Another explanation, right, why is this called Shabbat HaGadol? According to many Talmudic sources, this Shabbat celebrates the miracle that happened before the redemption. So there is a miracle before the miracle, and the miracle that is related to the very first commandment, all right? So the miracle was that we received our very first commandment, and that was given to the children of Israel, and the commandment was to slaughter the lamb of Passover. Long story short, it gets the name Gadol. So you've probably been wondering why throughout the service I've been telling you about Passover. So it is customary on Shabbat HaGadol for the rabbi, not me, to give a long drash, a long sermon, something that has changed through the years and occurs many, many more times through the year. But it used to be just on Yom Kippur and Shabbat HaGadol, there would be a very long sermon by the rabbi. And in this sermon, the rabbi discussed the rules and laws of the Passover holiday. I won't get into these laws. I shared a little bit before, but I won't get into these laws and the entire how to observe Passover. As a Reform Jew, I believe that each and every one of us learns about the holiday and chooses the way they want to celebrate the holiday, and that is the best way. But there's one law that I would like to talk about. Chazal, the elders, the wise rabbis, many hundreds of years ago, said, a person must see themselves as if they themselves, left Egypt and were redeemed. So there's this concept, very important concept, idea of Passover, that you yourself need to feel as if you were in Egypt and that you were freed. So there's lots of ways to interpret this idea. There are different traditions. There are traditions of dressing up. I know that there are families that dress up the children as if they were slaves, and then they hit each other with onions, and it's really cute to see. So there's different ways that people really experience it. And I would like to give you another way to look at this rule, at this law. So what if we think about it metaphorically? Metaphorically, slaves and leaving our own Egypt. My sister-in-law, may her memory be for a blessing, she passed away, and we inherited this beautiful Haggadah from her. It is called Haggadah Shel Chofesh. A Haggadah, this is the book that we use on Seder night, and it's a Haggadah for freedom. And just the introduction of this Haggadah summarized for me what this idea could be of being a slave and being free. So I translated it. This is in Hebrew, of course, and you're welcome to come check this out. This is by, I think it's Rabbi Yaakov Varshavsky. I think this is a Kabbalistic Haggadah, beautiful spiritual ideas that are taken from the Kabbalah. And I'm going to read to you the translation. It's not the best translation, but it's the best that I could, about this idea of what I imagine this idea of being slaves and free. This is the introduction. We were born to be free. It is planted in our basic structure as souls, as human beings. We weren't born to be slaves of tyrants or dictators or others. We are free. We are free to think, create, be, and choose a life of freedom. Slavery in Egypt hints to our inner prison, to which I place myself unconsciously each time again. I am stuck in a tyrant relationship or constricting work and hectic schedule that doesn't allow me to breathe and to think. I am stuck in a thought pattern that causes me to slowly dwindle, to have less and weaken, until I find myself deprived of my own self and deprived my inner freedom to be. The time of the Exodus, leaving Egypt, is a very holy time. It reminds me that I have the ability for things to be seen differently and that I can set myself free in this story. It allows me to reach a place where I find God once again, find life, find my life. Leaving Egypt didn't happen hundreds and thousands years ago. It happens each day. If I recognize it and choose it, I will win to find it. I hope that I discover it. So on this Shabbat HaGadol, on this Shabbat before Passover, may we all recognize our own story of leaving Egypt and being free. Shabbat Shalom. If we have announcements by Tina or somebody else. Oh, Karen. Yay, Karen. Come on up, Karen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's such a pleasure to spend this beautiful 90-some degree evening with you all here in person and out in TV land. Thank you, Cantor Noah. This is beautiful. Thank you, Evan. So great to have you up here. Thank you, Tina. This was a beautiful service. I'd like to thank Jessica back there. Wave. Hi, Jessica. Who, among her many millions of talents at Kol Tikva, is our tech extraordinaire tonight. And she's helping us film and stream so that everyone and anyone can join us for Shabbat. And also thank you to Dave for making the sound even that much more amazing. So for a few upcoming events that you just do not want to miss, this Wednesday we have our Kol Tikva Book Club meeting. On Thursday at 7 p.m. on Zoom, our scholar-in-residence, Rabbi Josh Hoffman, will host his second of 3 classes in a series titled The Holiness of Doubt, where he will discuss that for a book that teaches certainty, the Torah records nearly 300 questions which struggle with all kinds of doubt. This course will explore the questions of the Torah and how they model the pursuit of a life of faith. Please save the date for our annual gala, happening May 14th. And speaking of the gala, you too can help. If you have any gift cards that you've kind of forgotten about hanging out in your junk drawers, you can donate them. Do you have any connections that can help with great auction items, a vacation home, an airplane, who knows? Please call the Kol Tikva office and they will happily help you donate. We will be cleaning our Mishaberach list next week. If you have a name you'd like to remain on the list, please contact Jessica in the office. Next Friday night, the 15th, is Erev Pesach, so we will not be having Shabbat services. So please do not come because nobody will be here. But we look forward to having you and seeing you the following Friday for Shabbat services, followed by our annual Chametz Fest. As always, please keep your eyes on emails and visit koltikva.org for all registrations and even more events. This week's tzedakah box donations will go to the Jewish Federation Ukraine funds. And again, thank you for joining us this evening, and Shabbat Shalom.
At this time, we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, as well as those who have died in the season in past years. On our recently departed list, we think of Judy Morris, remembered by the Morris, Howard, and Medina families. We think of those who have died of COVID, the 3 Israelis who were in the terrorist attack in Tel Aviv, people in this country who have died of violence, as well as those killed in the Ukraine. Our yahrzeit list includes Mary Birov, Dr. Gerald H. Becker, Ruth Bine, Mark Binder, George Harvey Bloom, Rose Cohn, Sylvia Eldon, Lisa-Lot Fisher, Samuel Friedman, Linda Sue Glucroft, Lloyd Greenwald, Helen Hannon, Carrie Harvey, Joanna Holstein, Gisela Katz, Elvira Corpiel, Ron Tyson Lee, Rose Leitner, Esther Miller, Eugene Mullen, Nikki Pasternak, Bernice Pittler, Jacob Rubin, Lillian Schaller, Sydney Weil, and Louis Weissman. If you have an additional name for our Kaddish or Yahrzeit list, or I've mispronounced the name of your loved one, please share it with us. If you are in the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise. If you are in the first 30 days of mourning, Shiloshim, please rise. If you are in the first year of mourning, please rise. If you are commemorating a Yahrzeit, please rise. These are the mourners among us. Please stand with them to show your support and love. And please join me as we chant the Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra kirute v'amich malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomachon uv'chayed dekol be Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv iv'muru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach leolam almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yidhadar v'yidhaleh v'yidhalal shemei dekudesha b'richu leolam minko birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiram v'yalma v'meru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'meru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav huya aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yakol yoshvei tevel v'meru amen.
We stay standing. We are going to sing the final words of the Mourner's Kaddish. If you look at the page 598, the last three lines are Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'imru amen. So we're going to sing that together. If you know the person next to you and you feel like giving them a hug, do so. If you don't know them, then ask. But we do like to be together, to feel that we are a community. So we sing together, we pray together, and we ask for peace for everybody.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'yakol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'yakol Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'yakol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'yakol Yisrael. Ve'yakol
challah. And I'm just going to, perfect. Okay. Say Kiddush and Hamotzi. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim. They're tiny. It's so adorable. So let's say Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Next week no challah, so if you want to grab some, do it now. Shabbat shalom, everybody.